I mean, it's truly a cheat code with how fast it feels. What's going on? I'm Jack from Jack Ultramotive. I'm an automotive YouTuber slash gamer. I've been in the cars for as long as I can recall. The first car I bought was a Focus RS, literally like a year after it came out. And it was a brand new car, rolled out of the dealership, only had 11 miles on it. I mean, I was pretty fortunate that my YouTube stuff was taking off in the year that it was. The reason why I wanted that platform was because I thought for a first car and an only car, practicality kind of meant everything, and my taste has kind of evolved from that as I've been able to be fortunate to pick up more different cars. If I were to go back and give my younger self advice, I would say that, you know, when you're going in to either buy your first car or just, you know, something for yourself, value reliability, value something that might be a little more modernized and refined and usable, at least for, you know, if it's going to be your only car and such. I know that I learned from my Skyline. When I got that, I could have been a little bit ahead of myself with, like, the turbo seals were immediately bad, then eventually blew the motor, and there was a lot of time where that car was just down, and there was a lot of money that immediately also that had to be poured into it. And you do develop a sentimental connection once you do all of that, but I was fortunate enough that I was able to pay those bills off, and some people may not be. And when people buy cars for more of their coolness sake and for getting attention and because they may be older or more rare, sometimes it can be expensive, and what ends up happening, and I've seen this a lot, is that these cars just sit around and they never really get used. So I always recommend to someone buying a car that, like, may not be as unique or as rare, cool, or this or that, but if it's a lot more usable, I just care about the homies always pulling up to the function, always seeing them, and making sure that they're always driving their car and using it. Right now, cars that I've been eyeing to possibly add, C8 Z06 is one of them. I think they're just incredibly good value for what you're getting now. The amount of performance and the fact that they have kind of dipped down in pricing. You get basically a Ferrari for, you know, the same performance of a Ferrari and everything, and even more modernized, but, you know, for a fraction of the price. I've always wanted to build out an R35 GTR, Porsche GT3. It's what everybody wouldn't say no to, so yeah, definitely want to have those at some point. So I found out about the Exorcist on the Grand Tour episode. They had a Dodge Demon, an RTR Mustang, and then there was this Camaro, and it was called the Exorcist. And it just, the name immediately caught my attention on, like, who in the world would call that such a thing? But of course Hennessey would. It was always a dream to be able to send this car here and get this package added on. But I never would have been able to justify it for myself if it wasn't for the idea of being able to show it to my channel and realizing that everyone knows the prestigious Hennessey name, but I haven't felt like many people really showcase the kind of day in the life of, like, actually going through the build process and then what it's like to own the car afterward and everything. And the Exorcist being one of their most known build packages that they have, and me already having a ZL1 perfectly ready to go, it all just aligned. I got to give this a shot, try it out, and they were super cooperative. And that video of picking this car up from there has, like, close to 1 million views now, which is way more than any other car I've ever, like, revealed. Before this having the Hennessey treatment, I had never owned a car anywhere near close to this sort of power level. Probably the closest thing was an R8 that was, like, it was stock, so we're talking like 600 crank. Now this is 1,000 crank. I took delivery of this from Hennessey over 2 years ago, and I have the car had 8,000 miles around. Now it has like 27 or so. So we're getting close to having put 20,000 miles in the Exorcist form, and no issues the whole way through. I've always been a Jeff Gordon fan. My dad inspired that. He was a Jeff Gordon fan. This was inspired off of seeing an old Jeff Gordon livery on a ZL1 NASCAR, which I could very easily replicate on this ZL1 right here. And we had a rally coming up, so the livery was very fitting for that. Then we also had a NASCAR race in Phoenix, which we took this out to. We got to show photos of the actual NASCAR driver and he loved it. Yeah, I didn't know how my audience was gonna react when I went out to go pick up one of these because yeah, this was truly my first ever American muscle car. A lot of my content was more JDM focused prior with S chassis and Skylines. But I've always been about diversity and trying to kind of like unite different car enthusiasts of different ends. For what it can cost to build one of these out down here, some people can argue that you could get more car in other forms or more exotic forms, but the response to choosing to spend my money by building something like this out has been way more positive, and people love this car way more than if I just instead had bought in some, you know, some old used Lambo or another R8 or something of that nature. Just because, yeah, there's so much character with not only the prestige of the Hennessey brand, but also then like kind of building on top of a platform. And I also know that if I were to ever get rid of it, there'd be a lot of hate coming my way. We were road tripping this back from Hennessey. We were out somewhere in the middle of nowhere. I stopped at some gas station. I'm going in, and some kid just busts through and he points me out because he notices that I'm the owner, and he goes, "That Hennessey EXORCIST out there, is it real?" And up to this point, I had never had someone question the legitimacy of a car that I've had, because I mean, every other car, it is what it is or whatever, but yeah, the prestige that comes with, you know, the limited count and people knowing of these and how rare they can be, I felt honored. Reactions like that I've never received from any other car before. Hennessey and Pennzoil has been great partners together between each other. They're also partners of mine on this car. And Pennzoil's campaign, Long May We Drive, I mean, to me, I've always been about giving my cars some miles, actually getting them out there. I mean, hopefully someday this could be the most driven EXORCIST. I'm happy to have partners that help encourage that. They keep the car running healthy. It's always been a pet peeve of mine that some of the highest performance cars out there just sit around all the time. The engineering that goes into it. For me, it's been a privilege that I've somehow navigated my way to be in a scenario to get to own something like this, and I want to take full advantage of that and get proper use out of it, but also, you know, feel like I'm utilizing the privilege that I've been given. To me, that's kind of what Long May We Drive is all about, is actually utilizing your car and, you know, between either the engineering or the work that went into it, or just, you know, what you've been able to accomplish and how you've gone out to spend your money on that, actually utilizing the car that's sitting there that, you know, you've purchased. I think if you're looking to get yourself further in the car community or get more involved, it requires you finding a car, a platform, something for yourself that you love, and not buying into it because everyone else loves it. Building up a car and personalizing to your own because it's what you enjoy, that will take you a lot further and get you better, more positively involved within the scene than just buying a car simply because you think everyone else is gonna like it the most, or, you know, it's gonna be the clout machine of something of that nature. But yeah, once again, I'm Jack Ultramotive, and for me, it's been a 10-year journey of me doing YouTube content, and I'm still motivated. I still want to inspire. I've been honored by how many people at least have mentioned to me that have been inspired. I felt very fortunate to be in the car community, and as always, stay tuned for what's next on the channels.
Hennessey's awesome, and tuner school is awesome.